The Professionals. That's what a Washington State trooper suggested as the title for this program. The title reflects the admiration law enforcement officers have for you and the way you handle your rig while treating other drivers with respect. No matter how long you've been driving log trucks safely and how many accident-free miles you've driven, it's still a good idea to review the safety rules on a regular basis. The SHARP, or SHARP Division of the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries, has done a study of fatal accidents involving log trucks. This is what they found, and what L&I suggests could have been done to prevent the fatal accidents. There is no question that speed kills. Speed complicates every other factor. For instance, if you're fatigued and wander off the pavement, if you're driving too fast and lose control of your truck, you probably won't be able to regain control of the truck. Driving too fast puts a lot of additional stress on you. You already feel the stress of your job. You don't need to add more by driving too fast.
Remember, you're in a big rig, so you'll need to pay extra attention to your following distance. Be a responsible driver and give yourself the extra space you'll need.
There is one more hazard not mentioned in the safety books. Over-the-road trucks generally are not faced with driving through residential areas. You, on the other hand, often must use residential roads to get from the freeway to the entrance of the logging forests. The roads go by small farms, family homes, apartments, RVs, and playgrounds. In the residential areas, slow down to the point that you can instantly stop if you see children and/or their pets playing on the side of the road. Children and their pets can dart in front of your truck without warning. Hitting a child or their pet is so horrible, it's almost unthinkable. It can destroy you, even if the accident is not your fault. There may be times when you'll have to stop and wait until an adult comes to supervise the kids and their animals for you to pass safely. Jolene Raby is part of their family trucking firm.
I think that they need to be prepared for the diverse driving situations that log truckers face. They come across so many different things, the highways and logging roads, school zones, like you said, in the small towns and things like that. We try to remind our drivers every year of the school schedules and when school will start, when the breaks take place, and just to be aware.
Drivers, keeping a safe distance is easy to talk about. It's another thing when you're on the freeway, trying to keep a safe distance. Everything is going well when a little car comes off an on-ramp and squirts into the space right in front of you, generally driving 10 miles an hour slower than the speed limit. You slow down to keep the safe distance, and if another joker doesn't pull into that space you're keeping for emergencies. The temptation to show the joker what fear is all about is almost overwhelming. Don't let it. Emotional reactions will negatively affect your driving. It might also bring you an accident and a traffic ticket. You are the professional, and tailgating is never safe. There is a rule to easily calculate if you are leaving enough room between you and the vehicle in front of you. It's called the 4-second rule. Leave at least 4 seconds between you and the vehicle in front of you. When driving at night, add another second. At least double that time when driving in the fog, rain, or snow.
We know road conditions can change by the mile. Remember to adjust your driving for current conditions. Slow down and increase your following distance when driving conditions are poor.
The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety states that driver inattention is a major contributor to highway crashes. Most professionals believe that at least 25%, 1 out of every 4 vehicle crashes, involves some form of driver inattention. In reality, it may be a much higher percentage. In Washington State, you must wear a seatbelt. That's the law. Here is a partial list of items or behaviors that could cause or contribute to a fatal log truck accident. Eating and/or drinking. Using a cell phone or CB radio. Adjusting a radio. Smoking-related activity. Adjusting vehicle controls. Loose objects in the cab. looking at paperwork or maps, weather conditions, driver fatigue. Most of that list is job related. You need to pull off the road and take care of those tasks. But there are a few turnouts where you can get your truck out of the way for other vehicles to pass. For safety's sake, you need to wait until you find a safe area to pull off. How do you tell the difference between a professional driver and a wannabe? The answer? The pro practices defensive driving full time. The Truckers Report, in an article on defensive driving, urges pro drivers not to take unnecessary risks and to be prepared for other drivers to do the totally unexpected. This is especially true in an intersection. Slow down.
Well, that's kind of the key to it, is you watch everybody on the road, what they're doing. Some of them make some pretty stupid moves, and the sooner you know, the better off you are.
Play the what-if game while you're driving. Visualize a hazard and how you will react to it. That way, when the time comes, you'll be ready.
Before leaving the yard, adjust your mirrors. Don't rely on moving your head to find what you want to see. In an emergency, you might not have time to adjust your head. You'll want a correct picture just by glancing at the mirror. Check your mirrors at least every 7 or 8 seconds when you're on the road. In addition to lighting your way, your light should be used to signal your intentions to other drivers and pedestrians. When your vehicle is well lit, it reduces the chance other drivers will pull over right in front of you. If you have to drive slower than the posted speed limit, such as on a long hill, pull to the shoulder lane and turn on your 4-way flashers. Here is an area that you want to make sure your load is stable for your own safety. But you also want it to look stable for cars you pass and/or pass you. That's called good public relations. Keep the height of the load within legal limits. The height of the load plays a direct relationship to the stability of the truck. Legal or not, slow down for curves and rough road surfaces. Some freeway exits are very tight. Slow down more than you think you'd need to. It's easier to make any adjustments to protect your truck from rolling over before you hit the curb than after it's starting to roll over. Rollovers can be deadly. Making sure you don't have equipment failure is important for the driver of any large vehicle, but for the log truck driver, it may mean the difference between life or death. That is, your life or your death. Besides, it's Washington state law. The brakes must be checked before and after you move the truck. You need to do it after you received your load and installed the wrappers. Check your brakes before your transition from the logging roads to the paved highway. Here is a list of especially vulnerable equipment you need to check often. Steering apparatus, lights and reflectors, brake boosters, brake hoses and connections, reaches, hitches, couplings, bunks, stakes, bunk blocks. Use your senses and experience to see, hear, feel, and smell the operation of your truck. As you get older, you'll visit the doctors more and more often. As your logging truck gets older, it too will have to visit the mechanic more and more often. Expect it and look for it. We're all aware of how alcohol and/or drugs can impact your safe driving. But take seriously the labels on the over-the-counter medications and prescription drugs. Test the drug's impact on your body when you're not driving. If you are experiencing emotional troubles, the tendency is to get into your truck and try to drive your troubles away. This is exactly the opposite of what you should do. Get whatever problems you're experiencing worked out before you get back in the driver's seat of a logging truck.